All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Ju, and I'm here with Master Ju.
How's it going there, Mr. Ju?
It's going pretty good. We just finished up like an hour worth of scrubbing on the mats.
Well, it needs to be done.
Scrubbing the mats. Actually, we're trying something out, something a little bit new.
A little bit new. Yeah, I think maintaining the studio is important, keeping it clean. Mm-hmm. But even if you mop it down, it still gets grimy.
Yeah. So is that the most important part about the studio is the look?
Well, I think the little details, just like in Taekwondo, little details are important. And, you go into a Dojang, you go, wow, that's a nice clean Dojang. Or, wow, that's a messy Dojang.
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer? Which one would you prefer?
That's true. Actually, we look inside a lot of the Dojangs. But I think that's a common thing because I have had some people come by that were from out of town.
Right, and you get a lot of fingerprints on the window.
Yeah, and they looking in.
Obviously, someone's like, ooh, what is going on there?
Right.
And first impression is kind of important, I think, even like the uniform. Someone's got a grungy, dirty, worn-out uniform. Kind of says something about yourself as well. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily good or bad, it just says something about who you are, and I think the Dojang is very similar to that. I kind of wanted over the years, just wanted to look a little bit more organized together.
How has the Dojang for you changed? Like, what did you start out with, and then what have you learned over time?
Well, I remember when our very first Dojang here in Pleasanton, one wall was all of the plaques that I received. It's kind of like, and all the trophies and the medals.
So stereotypical martial arts school.
Martial arts school. Yes, absolutely. It's kind of like boasting who you are.
Right.
But
most people don't care about that. Really.
You think?
Like students that come in through the door?
Yeah, well, I think that students that come in the door, it's whether they like it or they don't like it, I think. Mm-hmm. But, you have those kind of things up and people go, oh, that school's either successful, compete a lot, whatever it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it used to be really kind of cluttered.
Yeah.
And then we kind of cleaned it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I kind of prefer it that way. What's your thoughts?
Well, for me, everything has to be clean and minimal and kind of has to have its own place.
It's kind of like The Odd Couple.
What's The Odd Couple?
The TV show.
Never seen that.
Never. They had a movie about that too.
Oh, really?
One guy was like super messy, just throw stuff around the house. The other one was a neat freak and always cleaning up.
Right.
And you're probably thinking, oh, he's a messy one and I'm the clean one. Well, in college, I was like the clean one and my roommate was the messy one.
Oh, really?
We draw a line on this is your side, this is my side.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was always the clean one. I would always clean the house.
True, and you're still the clean one.
Yeah.
And I'm the messy one.
Yeah, but I think everything has to have its purpose, has to look good. I mean, things don't even have to be necessarily clean in the sense that it's like disinfected and everything. But when it's put together,
right,
then it just feels clean already.
Well, COVID made all the Dojangs clean up.
Did it?
Well, at least we sprayed stuff down, I guess.
Sprayed stuff down, yeah.
As far as organization of the way the Dojang looks, because there are some Dojangs you look at and go, wow, that is a nice looking Dojang.
Yeah.
And then you look at some and you go, wow, it's pretty messy.
Yeah.
And so what becomes more important? Is it the training that's more important or the way the Dojang looks?
I think it's the way the Dojang looks because you could have those things like bars to help balance for kicking, or you could have things like big mats so you could jump on, right? But then those end up taking a lot of space and they end up, standing up against the wall, which kind of disrupts the kind of flow.
The way it looks.
Way it looks. But can I still achieve the same results without it? I think so.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, that's the reason why we have that wall back there. I mean, if you go back there and look, it might be not as neat.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the back is actually pretty neat, but...
What, the back room?
Yeah, the back room.
Oh.
That's where all our bags and all of our stuff is stored, so you don't really see that. It's kind of hidden. maybe some dojangs don't have that luxury of that extra space, so they've got to throw it somewhere around.
But we can still make it nice even when we put it up on walls, right?
Yeah, I
Not
think
leave it on
so.
the floor.
And recently we changed our belts. It
Yeah.
used to be just a belt hanging on the wall,
Yeah.
as opposed, and what we did is we framed it and tried to make it a little bit, cleaner, I guess.
Right. Do we want to
And-
highlight that? We could pop up.
We threw up some of these belts and we put them in a frame. Thought it might look a little nicer, a little cleaner. So it's not as it's not like what I used to do in the old days. Well, I mean, every school does it a little bit different. I just tied some belts and threw up on the wall
Yeah.
just for some decoration.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is some students actually kind of liked that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it was like traditional Taekwondo. But the way that we see it is like a guy's dojang.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Hey, let's just throw the belts
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
You could look at a dojang and it's like super messy and you go, that place probably just works out. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And I think we care about working out, and I like to push the limit sometimes, a lot of times. But can we also have a nice clean dojang, right? Because I think it's just a balance between the two.
Right. So that's an interesting point because this week was Dalian for us, and we have a student, and he's done a couple of different martial arts. He's done some Kempo, karate, and jujitsu, and he was sweating a ton all over the floor, and
He wanted to
mop up the floor afterwards, right? Which was different. We don't normally get people to ask that.
No, I've had other students ask.
So is that typical gym etiquette, dojang etiquette?
I think it's just he feels like, he put all that sweat on the floor to need to clean it up. But Master Singh in Singapore, he has his students mop the floors before they work out and mop it, or at least wipe it
Yeah.
after the class. And I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know how it dries so fast though.
Not a lot of water.
Maybe not.
Well, I think, do they have somebody that wrings it out for the kids? Because you cannot let a kid, like a little 6-year-old, dunk a towel and throw it on the floor. It's gonna be a show.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they use their uniform. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to go visit and see how they do that.
Right.
Keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
It would take a lot of time though, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, their classes are also a lot longer.
Probably don't have classes back to back like
Right.
that. Or there's more time between the classes. Not
Yeah.
sure.
Any final thoughts on what the gym should look like?
Whatever is comfortable for you, right? And the feel you want to bring in. I remember a guy came in, he had to fix a mirror. He says, I really like your dojang. It just seemed open. And I said, what do you mean? It just seems inviting, he said. And I says, compare to what? And he says, I've been to other martial arts studios and it just feels uninviting. Feels evil, he said.
Right.
I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Well, there's also some other schools that we know from around the country, and they put a lot of effort into it. One guy almost said he tries to make it like a Disneyland Do-Jang. Yeah, but not in the sense because of how clean it is, how neat. He had like personal murals painted on the wall from people.
Right.
I mean, it was extensive kind of stuff.
Right.
But he had like 4 or 5 schools, and maybe was that the key to his kind of success? I don't know.
Well, I think that that's not the only thing.
Yeah.
If you got a good program, that's gonna help, obviously. But it doesn't hurt to have a nice looking dojang, right? And I think the point being that can we learn something from companies like Disneyland, right? And the attention to detail, making sure everything's clean. It's like we wipe down the windows quite often, and I'm sure in Disneyland you see guys picking up garbage all the time.
They do, yeah.
And it creates a certain atmosphere, it creates a certain image.
Right.
And I think dojang may be same.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts on the dojang. And as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Taekwondo.